This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pond. I'm your host, David, and today's game will feature the Benchwarmer team of Scott and Matt versus the team of Dan and head coach to our Patreon team, Benchy Award winner and returning guest, Chris Shen. Chris, why don't we start with you? We all know you now. I think you've got a 3-2 record, maybe. So,
sounds about right. I maybe 2-3. I'm not sure. I probably shouldn't have a winning record. If I do,
you can always ruin it tonight and hit 500 one way or the other. So, what's new in your world? Anything new and exciting?
Well, I work in a high school, and next was a Thursday is when I got to go back into school. So, my summer has less than 2 days left, and that's depressing. But I also know I'm getting no sympathy for those people who work year round. So
this is true, but we also appreciate what you do in the school. So, remind us what you do in the school. I can't remember.
I'm a guidance counselor or a school counselor, if you want to be politically correct.
High school. So your job is to get kids into college?
Yes. I steer them away from Brown, though.
Nice. Ouch.
The lesser of all of the Ivy League schools. So.
Hey, first alphabetically. All right. Remember that. Dan, what's up with you?
I've been back at school for 2.5 weeks now.
Well, it's North Carolina, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Why don't we start when it's like 105 degrees?
It really doesn't matter. I mean, it could be 105 in September, so it's not like it's any guarantee.
Or June. So yeah,
right.
It's
Exactly.
going to be 105 in December pretty soon.
Yeah,
a few years.
This is true. We're all going to be moving north. All right, so Dan, you got a team name tonight?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, if you want to,
I'm doing fine, by the way. Thanks for asking, David.
You started with the school stuff, so I figured that was my opening to just move you along.
So I don't know if everybody remembers this or not, but the last time this combination of teams met together, it was the same teams. It was Matt and Scott against Chris and myself. And back then, we already showed off the fact that we have two benchies between us. So this time we're going back to something that happened during the game where two names kind of got conflated, and we've decided that tonight we're going to be Conor McGregor, Oilers legend.
I remember that well. I think I wrote the pre and post game that led to that. Yes, and Chris came darn close into talking you into checking in with something like that. So yes. Well done. All right, Conor McGregor, Oilers legend. Matt, Scott, how are you guys this evening? Who wants to go? Who wants to talk first?
I'll go ahead and talk first because Scott has our team name.
Oh, perfect.
And I'm super excited now because right off the bat, Dan and David decided to go at each other and have a little beef. So I would like for this game to be a Dan versus David beef episode. So let's go ahead and make that happen. So
wait,
Scott,
are we pulling the rug out again? Me, you, and Chris are hosting, and
There's been a coup, ladies and gentlemen. The mic has been taken over.
I've been off of beef for the last 9 months, so I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't want to jump into this again.
So yeah, I'm doing good. My kids started school. Yeah, same as yours. I think maybe even like a couple of days before yours, Dan. My kids started school on the 11th of August, which to me
ours
seemed...
was the 9th. Ours was absurd.
Okay, yeah, so
Absurd.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand that. But in Minnesota, we only started it was the Tuesday after Labor Day, so it was the way it was always. So weird. Anyway, okay, I'm doing good. Super, super hot. For those who are listening to this episode in like late September or something like that, you'll but here today it was 104 degrees.
Oof.
In Omaha. So yeah,
Brutal.
Scott.
Yeah, Scott, hit us. Tell us about your weather.
not as hot here in the 70s. We survived the hurricane of 2023. So those of you that are listening a month and a half from now or whatever, a month from now, we're still here. LA's still here. We're good. Earthquakes are a thing that happen, but I never feel them. I only ever hear about them. I've only ever felt one since I've been here. So
really,
whatever. I'm good. Yeah, every other week it's like, oh, do you feel the earthquake? I'm like, no, sorry, I didn't.
I've been on
life.
work meetings with friends, with coworkers in California, and be like, "Ooh, did you feel that?" I said, "No, I'm in Nebraska."
So team name wise, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the last time we had this collection of individuals, we had the same teams. It was Chris and Dan against Matt and myself. And at some point,
with David hosting, by the way,
and at some point during the game, I told Chris that he had to go shirtless for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is. I said what I said. But in honor of that, and in honor of the same teams here, and in honor of Matt's excellent choice of attire for this game, our team name is going to be "Gotta Go Sleeveless, Pal."
It's awesome. All right, so we got gotta go sleeveless, pal, versus Conor McGregor, Oilers legend. See how many times I trip over those two. All right, we'll kick it over to for real to Dan for the rules.
the game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
All right, any questions about the rules before we start? We're all good?
Nope.
No questions about the rules, but is this game going to be as hard as last time? Because the last time we played, it was 250 to 200.
Nah, I think it'll be a lot easier. We'll see. All right, today's first quarter is going to be let it ride or throw in the towel.
Oh, jeez.
Let it ride or throw in the towel. For this quarter, there will be 4 questions in a given category that increase in difficulty. After each question, teams can decide to let it ride and attempt the next question, or throw in the towel and take the points they have accumulated to that point. Each question is worth 50 points. If a team answers incorrectly, they will lose half of their points accumulated in the quarter.
Okay, this
Wow.
quarter is going to be all about players who won Big Four championships in consecutive years, but not for the same team. Question number 1. Now a college coach. This defensive back and return specialist won Super Bowl 29 with the 49ers and Super Bowl 30 with the Cowboys.
I think we can check in.
All right, Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal has checked in. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend. Talk it out.
What you got, Connor? So Dion?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Dion.
Yeah, it's 94 and 95, yeah.
Now a college coach. Yeah. I omitted that first part. Yeah.
You got to read the questions, man.
Yeah. I skipped the first part of the sentence.
Yeah,
Now,
Sarky.
now
Yes,
batting
Dion.
for Ede.
Dion.
Chris,
Yeah.
Shen.
Yeah, we'll check that in.
All right. And Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal. What'd you have?
Yeah, he typed in Dion, and I think I checked in before, or just as he typed in Dion. So yeah, Dion, or Coach Prime, as we're calling him now.
Deion Sanders is correct. Both teams will be receiving points. I read actually Deion apparently is the only person in Super Bowl history who has logged both a reception and an interception. Not in the same Super Bowl, but he's the only one that has had both in Super Bowl history. So there you go. All right. So let's see. Who do I go to first? Got to go Sleeveless Pal. Let it ride. Throw in the towel.
We're gonna let it ride.
Okay. Conor McGregor.
Well,
Yeah,
if
I
they're as
guess
hard
we
as
gotta-
that last one.
All right. Both teams are going to let it ride. Question number 2. Now an NBA head coach. This 3-point shooting specialist has won a total of 9 championship rings as a player and a coach, including in back-to-back years with the Bulls in 1998 and Spurs in 1999.
Checked in.
Yep.
All right. Once again, Got to Go Sleeveless Pal has checked in. Conor McGregor. Time to talk it out.
Yeah, it's going to be Steve Kerr, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Steve Kerr.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
check that in.
All right. And Got to Go Sleeveless.
Same thing.
Steve Kerr.
All right. Both teams are receiving points. Okay. See, not so bad so far. So I'll go to Conor McGregor first. Let it ride or throw in the towel.
Man, I mean now
We're not
he's
Conor
now he's
McGregor,
gonna,
so we can't.
yeah, now he's gonna throw on the gauntlet.
gonna
here,
be-
the third one.
Now a Little League head coach.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah, let's
Right.
do it. Right.
yeah, we'll go. We'll
Okay.
keep going.
And got to go
I
sleeveless.
think we should do one more at least.
I
Okay.
agree.
Question number 3. 2 players, one on offense, one on defense, played for both the Patriots in Super Bowl 51 and the Eagles in Super Bowl 52. Name either one.
All right, we're gonna check in.
All right. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, has checked in. Got to go sleeveless, pal. You got about 45 seconds.
Yeah, we probably should have threw in a towel.
Yeah. I was throwing out the Wisconsin running backs because I thought they went back and forth. I know that both of them played. Yeah. So Corey
Well,
Clement was in.
Clement was definitely on the Eagles. I don't
Yeah.
have a recollection of him on New England because it was like James White, Deion Lewis,
Yep.
whichever power back they wanted to have around that time. Brandon
It
Bolden.
wasn't Fournette. He wasn't there yet. No, I don't think, right?
So I just don't. I can't. So I'm pretty sure Clement was on the Eagles for several years. So I don't think he would have gone back. I can't think of who this is. I know Kenyon Barner was on both rosters, but I can't place when. And I don't know. I thought he would have went the other way, like Eagles and then Patriots. And this would be Patriots then Eagles for him.
I mean, it's probably an offensive lineman or something. That
Right, and like a defensive back on the other side, probably.
Yeah.
I need an answer.
Smith
One of
and
the-
Jones.
I mean,
You do whatever you want. I don't care, man.
we could do that, and then at least just hope that one of them is
You only need
Brown.
one. You only
Oh,
need
we
one.
only
Yeah,
need
yeah.
one?
You only need
right.
one.
Right, that's what I mean. Right, so we just throw out
Oh,
one name.
wait.
I said name either
Yeah.
one.
Oh.
Yeah, Eid.
Name either
Um,
one.
Yeah, so let's just throw out. Should we just throw out Brown? That's always a good football name.
You don't want to try this Kenyon Barner?
I mean, we can, sure. All right, we'll check in with Kenyon Barner.
All right. And we'll go to Conor McGregor.
The more I think about this, Chris, the more I'm pretty sure that that we got this.
Okay.
Because I seem to remember, I'm pretty sure he scored a touchdown in 52 for the Eagles. We said LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount is correct. And it's funny, Kenyon Barner, of course, like LeGarrette Blount, also an Oregon Duck running back. But yes, one team did get it. The two answers were actually
was the other guy a safety?
no, the other guy was Chris Long.
Okay, so it wasn't Patrick Chung
No. I think Patrick Chung was he with
because
the
he
Eagles
went from the
then?
Pats to the Eagles.
But I think not in the 2 years that they won the Super Bowl consecutively, though. So we had one team that did not get it right and one team that did get it right. So I have to ask Conor McGregor, Oilers legend. He's already shaking his head. He didn't even ask the question yet. Do you want to let it ride or throw in the towel?
I got a towel to throw, if that's all right, Chris.
All right.
Did we
But
just rip our shirts off instead?
We could.
All
I
Let
don't
it
want
ride
to
or
rip this
throw in
one,
the
though.
shirt.
I want to rip this one. This is a good shirt. But
Okay. So is that a final decision?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Right, Chris? Are you good
Yeah.
with that?
Okay. So just for nothing, I will share with you the last one, which was in 2020 and 21. This outfielder won back-to-back World Series with the Dodgers and Braves, respectively, making him the 9th player in Major League Baseball history to win the World Series in consecutive years for different teams. The correct answer was Jock Peterson. Who,
Oh, yeah.
shout out
Jock
to Eric
Peterson?
Shout out to Eric Walling. Jock Peterson is a cover athlete for Jewish Sports Quarterly. So there you go. He's also, I found out from doing a little bit of research, that he's one of 3 rookies, including Albert Pujols, by the way, who hit 20 home runs his rookie year before July. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
had no idea.
he burst on the scene.
Yeah, he did. And he still hits like 215 and has just enough power. All right. After the first quarter, we have scores of Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, with 150 points, and Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal with 50 points.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia that you have come to expect from us. There are also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmer swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
That will take us to the second quarter, which today will be the missing link.
The Missing Link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the fifth question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the fifth question.
Question number 1 of the missing link. Though this U.S. state is not home to any schools that have made the NCAA men's basketball tournament, it has developed a pipeline of players to major college basketball schools, producing Mario Chalmers, who went to Kansas, Trajan Langdon and Carlos Boozer, who both went to Duke. As players, all three made it to the NCAA championship game.
Checked in.
All right. Got to go Sleeveless Pal has checked in a big hurry. That leaves Conor McGregor to talk it out.
How long do we want to talk this out before we give the answer?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it as soon as he said Trajan Langdon.
Yeah.
Same.
And yeah, it's Alaska. So
yeah.
Checking in?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I don't know who you're dragging it out for. They've already checked in. Got to go Sleeveless Pal. What'd you guys have?
Yeah, same. Trajan Langdon was the dead giveaway.
It's funny. He was the least successful of the three, and yet everyone has him associated with Alaska. But maybe it's because of the podcast.
I think that's why. No,
I know.
because the other guys you can say, oh, Chalmers did this, Boozer did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Langdon, all he's got is Alaska.
Yeah.
Well, Langdon was older than Boozer, right?
He came like a couple years before, I think.
A couple years before,
Yeah,
that's right.
and then I thought that he was one of the reasons why Boozer
He
went
was,
there.
yeah. Yeah, he was like in charge of the visit. He hosted them.
Yeah.
So just to make everyone feel a little bit older, well, maybe this only works for me, but Boozer actually has twin sons who are, I think, maybe they're either rising juniors or rising seniors, and they are like both in the top 10 recruits in the country. So no doubt they'll end up at Duke. But anyway, yes.
And they're still in Alaska?
No. He I don't think he ever went back to Alaska when he left after
Nobody goes back to Alaska.
except for Marcus. All right. Question number 2. In 2017, the groundbreaking ceremony for this stadium included Roger Goodell, Howie Long, Jim Plunkett, and Ray Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We can check in.
Yep.
All right. Conor McGregor has checked in. Got to go Sleeveless Pal. Your turn to talk it out.
Yeah. Allegiant Stadium.
Allegiant.
It's the Vegas, the black hole, the new. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Allegiant.
Yep. Allegiant Stadium for
All right.
5,000 points.
That won't make up the
yeah.
difference. But you will you're checking in? You're good?
Yes.
All right. Got to go. Conor McGregor, what did you guys have?
We had a Allegiant Stadium.
That is correct. And both teams are receiving points. Our themed linked answers thus far are Allegiant Stadium and Alaska. Question number 3 of our missing link. Heisman Trophy winners Doak Walker, Davey O'Brien, Earl Campbell, and Andre Ware all played in this conference.
We can check in, David.
Got to go Sleeveless Pal has checked in. Conor McGregor, you guys can talk it out.
I mean, the SWAC's a thing, isn't it? Like still a thing, like a FCA,
Yeah.
FCS team.
Yes. It still is, but just because there's nothing in there that says that the conference is folded, but
Right. No, I think it's not. I don't think it's the Southwest Athletic Conference. I think it's just the Southwest Conference is what I'm trying to say.
all right, I'm fine with that then.
Yeah. We'll check in with the Southwest Conference.
All right. And got to go Sleeveless. What did you guys have?
Same thing. Southwest Conference.
That is correct. I had forgotten when I looked up the Southwest Conference. It was basically like all Texas schools and then Arkansas for some reason. So until Arkansas split off to go to the SEC, it was still just basically all Texas schools. Or at some point, no, Oklahoma was always different, I guess. I forgot what
Oklahoma State, Missouri, Kansas State.
That's right. There was the
Nebraska
original-
was the Big Eight.
The Big Eight. That's right. Okay. Our themed linked answers thus far are Allegiant Stadium, Alaska, and the Southwest Conference. Question number 4. The mascot for this MLS soccer team is Talon, the bald eagle.
We're gonna check in.
All right. Conor McGregor has checked in. Got to go Sleeveless. Talk it out.
DC
Well, yeah.
United.
That makes the most sense, right? And
Oh.
also, if you say to me, name an MLS team,
We're gonna
DC United.
We're gonna check in with DC United.
All right. And Conor McGregor.
Bald Eagle makes sense for it to be DC, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. So we said DC United as well.
And that is correct. Well done. It was hard for me to pull out some DC United facts. But our themed linked answers thus far are Allegiant Stadium, Alaska, Southwest Conference, and DC United. Question number 5. The nickname of this WWE wrestler whose entrance music starts "Adrenaline in my soul, every thought out of control." By the way, his father's nickname would also work for the theme.
Well, I mean, we're checked in. So.
All right. Gotta Go Sleeveless is checked in.
Adrenaline in my soul. Yeah, that's yeah, so it's gonna be Dustin Rhodes, the American Nightmare. We'll check that in.
And Gotta Go Sleeveless.
This is interesting because technically he's wrong because it's not Dustin Rhodes, it's Cody Rhodes.
Oh, but you said you're right.
I asked for the nickname.
But you asked for the nickname, but the question asks for the wrestler. The question says the nickname of this wrestler. So the wrestler, based on the question, is Cody Rhodes. I'm just saying.
Okay, I wanted the nickname. I
don't know why I said because he added Dusty to it. That's
yeah, it's the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I'll give you both correct answers.
Yes.
That is correct. Yes, absolutely. All right. Both teams are a little hesitation there, but both teams are getting points. And our themed linked answers thus far are, not thus far, but completely, are Allegiant Stadium, Alaska, Southwest Conference, DC United, and American Nightmare. This one proved to be about as easy as I thought it might be. And both teams got it around the second question, or around when the second question was answered. Both teams got it at the second question, but Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, got it in just before Gotta Go Sleeveless. So, Dan, since you mailed it to me, why don't you break it down?
Well, I mean, after Allegiant came out, Chris said, "These are airlines, right?" And I said, "Yeah, they are." And then he said, "Did you send it to David?" And I said, "Yeah, I did."
So you did without checking with your teammate? Is that what you're telling me?
I always do that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've known that or not, but I always check in before I check in with my team.
I think if I would have just sent it over to him, Scott, and I wouldn't have verified with you, I probably would have been ahead of Dan. But
I think you were ahead of Dan. That's what I heard, that you were ahead of Dan.
Yeah, exactly.
We were wondering what else could have possibly been out there for these.
Same. I said Spirit of St. Louis. Like, is that
the Horizon League?
I was thinking something about Frontier,
the Pan Am games.
The Pan Am games. There you go. Yeah.
I tried.
No, the second I came up with airlines, and then he started talking about Texas and the conference, like Southwest. Of course, that confirms now. Yep. Yeah.
You could add the Aloha Bowl. Isn't there an Aloha Bowl?
There is an Aloha Bowl, but that would have worked, actually. I was trying to come up with ones where it wasn't so completely tied to the airlines. I was even trying to remember when they named Allegiant Stadium. Was that for the airline?
I would imagine, right?
I guess it'd have to be, but it wouldn't. I mean, it seems logical, but all the other ones are not, right? I mean, like Alaska, Southwest Conference, DC United, American Nightmare / American Dream. So after the second quarter, we have scores of Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, with 350 points, and Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal with 200 points. That will bring us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
So this halftime is going to be odd one out style, sort of.
Oh,
don't worry. I always say that. Don't worry. It's going to be good. Okay. So just to give you getting the swing of this. So for question 1, I'm going to name 4 baseball movies, each of which centers around one Major League Baseball team. And all of those teams are in the same division currently. Okay. All I want you to do is name the one team that's not covered by one of these movies.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. So here we go. Little Big League, For the Love of the Game, 8 Men Out, and Major League.
We can check in.
All right. Very quickly, Gotta Go Sleeveless has checked in. Conor McGregor, you can talk it out.
All right, Chris. Little Big League was the Twins.
Yeah.
Love of the Game was the Tigers. 8 Men Out was White Sox. And
Major League was
Major League. That's
the Indians /
Guardians.
I mean, they weren't the Guardians, but
right. Yeah. So it's going to be the Royals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll check in with the Royals.
All right. And Gotta Go Sleeveless.
The second you brought up this idea, that's the 4 movies that popped into my brain immediately. So I was like, yep, So yeah, we checked in with the Royals also.
Well done. Can't throw anything past you guys. Well, they'll get slightly harder now. Okay, for this question, I'm going to describe 3 football teams in movies that all play in the same division. You tell me the team that plays in the same division but's not on the list. Okay?
Current division, right? The
Current division. Yes, thank you for clarifying.
As
Current division.
of August 22nd, 2023.
Right. Or maybe last year at the same time.
Because we have realignment on them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's
You never
throwing me
know.
off.
In 2 years, it might be somebody could listen to this episode 2
Yeah.
years from now.
You may not have heard, but
That's fair.
the Seattle Seahawks are leaving for the NFC North. So, all right,
Yeah.
here we go. The team with whom wide receiver Rod Tidwell is negotiating a new contract. Number 2, the team that quarterback Bo Callahan is traded to on draft day. And number 3, the team that quarterback Joe Pendleton is playing for when he's prematurely killed in an auto accident.
We can check in.
All right, got to go. Sleeveless Pal has checked in. Conor McGregor, you get to talk it out.
All right. So, I mean, Rod Tidwell is obviously the Cardinals.
Yes.
Bo Callahan, that was the number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
I don't remember who they traded him to.
Well, it's so the last one, Pendleton, is the Rams. So it's going to be either the 49ers or the Seahawks.
Oh, it was the Seahawks then.
Okay.
I remember them making a trade to the Seahawks.
Okay. So the 49ers then is going to be
Yeah.
the answer. All right.
Okay.
We'll check in the 49ers.
All right, and got to go sleeveless. What did you guys have?
Yeah. So what was draft day, right? Yeah. So Kevin Costner has what I think is the best out of nowhere random line in all of I can remember a long time. Anyway, so he's talking to the GM of the Seattle Seahawks, and he calls him a pancake eating son of a bitch. I don't know why, but anyway, yeah. So the answer we came up with is the 49ers.
That is correct, and you guys ran it, of course. Tidwell was the Cardinals. Bo Callahan was traded to the Seahawks. He wasn't the number 1 overall pick, but
Yeah,
he was supposed to be. He was
he
entering
ended
the
up
day,
being
was
like
supposed to
the
be
number
the
7.
6th or 7th,
Six,
right?
something
Something like that. Yeah. And of course, Joe Pendleton is Heaven Can Wait, and that's the Rams. Well done. All right. Last one is very similar to the second one. So I'm going to give you 3 movies about specific NFL teams, and you tell me which one is in a division currently that is not. Here we go. Journalist George Plimpton, played by Alan Alda, tries out for an NFL team. Alex Karras plays himself. Number 2, in an a cappella throwdown, one NFL team is eliminated early. And number 3, with the title character played by James Caan, this movie centers around teammate running backs, one a Hall of Famer, and the other whose life and NFL career are tragically cut short.
We can check in.
Got to go shirtless, pal. Has checked in. Conor McGregor, yours to talk out again.
This is either the Vikings or Packers. I don't know what the middle thing is. The acapella throwdown. One NFL team is eliminated early.
Would you say either the Bears or
So the Bears and the Lions are the other two. The Bears
well, the Lions was the first
was
one.
George Plimpton, yeah,
Yeah.
and the Bears was the third one.
Right.
So it's either the Packers or the Vikings, and I have no idea what this is. The acapella throwdown NFL team.
From a movie, would have been from a movie.
Yeah, I don't know what this would be.
I mean, I'm wondering if this is like Pitch Perfect and there was somebody called the Vikings or something. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what that is either.
So if it was about the Minnesota Vikings, I would have heard about it. It would have been part of our collective knowledge about just things you know about your team. So if I had to make a guess, I would say the Vikings is the answer
Okay,
to this.
that's fine. Yeah, because I mean, I agree with you. I don't know what that middle one is either.
Yeah, and I make it my business to not know anything about the Packers. So should we go with the Vikings then? It's a 50-50, but with maybe 50 55 45 or something.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna say the Minnesota Vikings.
All right. And got to go sleeveless, pal.
Yeah, it was Pitch Perfect.
I think it's Pitch Perfect too.
Pitch Perfect 2, you're right, correct. It was Josh Sitton and
I know
TJ
Clay was there.
Clay,
Right, Clay.
and there Don Barclay, like a bunch of random offensive linemen
Who
that-
can sing? Who
Yeah.
can really sing?
Yeah, legitimately could sing. And so the answer to the question is the Vikings, because it was the Bears and the Detroit Lions for the other two, like you guys said. So yeah.
Yeah,
Same.
everybody nailed it and got their points. Well done. Two things to say about this. One is you should go back and review it, Dan, even though you hate the Packers, because they sang Bootylicious and it was pretty darn good. The second thing I want to say is
I just heard what I needed to hear. I don't need to.
That's fair.
fair enough. But the second thing I will say about this is that it's hard to write questions about the Vikings that Dan doesn't immediately know the answer. So I figured if I could back you into it, then maybe I'd have a shot. So there it is. I at least gave you some pause on whether it was the Vikings or not. But everybody.
What
swept
about the
halftime.
TV show Vikings?
That's
Exactly.
true. But this was legitimately about the Packers. All right.
Yeah.
So after halftime, go ahead.
You could have done the NFC East, couldn't you? There had to have been a way to do that. The Little Giants.
Well, Little Giants wasn't really about the Giants, though.
They showed up though.
Sure. Okay. And then
I'm waiting for my NBA one. Like you
Yeah,
could have done the Atlantic, right? I mean, you got the
It
Knicks,
was-
the Celtics.
it would have been really hard. You find me a movie about the Nets.
No,
Or
they're the odd team out.
okay. Okay.
I'm sure we can.
Oh,
I'm sure we can get the
Rap-
Sixers in there.
The Raptors? I mean, come on.
Jurassic Park.
Fair enough. Okay, I did not occur to me to do the
Yeah,
Raptors.
Invincible and North Dallas 40. I suppose those would have been too easy.
They would have been a little bit too easy, right? Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't use the name Paper Lion for the movie and the last one. All right. So after halftime, we have scores of Conor McGregor, Oilers legend with 425 points, and Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal with 275 points. Now on to the second half.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Today's third quarter will be 5-on-3.
Five on 3. For this quarter, there will be 3 categorized lists containing 5 items, where each item is worth 10 points. The teams will attempt to guess as many items as they can. However, if a team has an incorrect guess, they will receive 0 points for that list.
We will start out with one for our guest. Okay, question number 1 of 5-on-3. I'm looking for the last 5 Red Sox players to lead the league in home runs.
David, you're diabolical.
I'm
All right,
good.
we're
with
going
it.
to check in.
All right. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, has checked in. About a minute to go for Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal.
The 4 that we're pretty certain about, right? We're gonna go with those 4.
Yep. And then it's just a matter of, do we want to risk the 5th one? I mean, we're down. It's 40 or 0, but it might not be 40 anyway if we're not right on those 4 on one of them.
So the 40 that we are sorry, the 4 that we
Yes, you got 40 people.
the 4 that we have, we're gonna go with Big Poppy.
Yep.
And then we were gonna go with Mo Vaughn.
95. Yep.
And then we were gonna go with Jim Rice and Carl Yastrzemski.
67, right? Yep.
Yep. And then we think that this might go back a ways even before that. But did you have another one that you wanted to try to go for?
No, I'm Jimmy Fox is tempting, but there could have been some dude, right, in the 50s that you know what I mean, that did it that randomly, or
What about Dwight Evans? Like
Mason's
82?
not here, but that's a name. Yeah, I don't know if he ever led the league, but yeah, he was definitely a prolific.
Like early
home run hitter.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was definitely.
I mean, if we want to go for 5, he would make sense. And then Yastrzemski. I'm just worried that Manny would have snuck in there at one of those times in the 90s, but there was so many guys hitting so many.
No, because I mean, he didn't get to Boston until the early 2000s.
Oh
and
yeah, what am I thinking?
he
of?
was up
Yeah.
against like A-Rod and I think there was just a lot of guys.
Okay, so let's
Zombie.
clean this up here. So we're gonna go with Ortiz, Mo Vaughn. Do you mind if I go with
Let's do it.
Dwight
Yep.
Evans? And then are we gonna go with Yaz and Rice for sure? Jim Rice.
Yeah. I think we'll go back
And-
to Yaz. I don't think there's anyone in between
And
Yaz and Evans.
Wait, I think you just named off 6 people. So can you do that again, please?
So we're gonna go with Poppy,
Okay.
Mo Vaughn,
Mm-hmm.
Jim Rice, Dwight Evans, and Yastrzemski.
Okay. Got it. And Conor McGregor?
All right. So Ortiz, and then 04 was Manny, the magical 04 year. And then I think you need to go way back after that. I think you need to go into the early 80s after that. Tony Armas did it once.
Typed his name to
He
Matt.
said his name too. Dang
Jim
it.
Rice, and then David gave me a hint by telling me that it was a tie, and that put 1981 in play because 1981 was the strike shortened season, and there were 4 guys that all hit like a low 20s to lead the league, and one of them was Dwight Evans. So we said Evans, Wright. I'm not right. Evans,
Right.
Rice, Armas, Manny, and Ortiz.
One team will be receiving points. And to break the suspense quickly, Dan, you're a machine. That was ridiculous how you broke that down. So first of all, let me give you a tiny bit of color. You're right. Ortiz had in 2006 hit 56 and killed the league. 2004, you're exactly right about Manny. 1984 was Tony Armas in a brief stay with the Red Sox. He's also one of my favorite trivia questions because his name is made up of 4 body parts: toe, knee, arm, ass. Very important trivia. Jim Rice was 1983, although also led in the late 70s. My favorite player growing up. He was sort of my Kirby Puckett. And in 1981, in a strike shortened year, Mike Schmidt ran away with it in the National League, but in the American League, they only played two-thirds of a season. I should have made you name all the people that he tied with. One of them was actually Tony Armas, Tony Armas, when he played with Oakland. And the other
Eddie Murray was one, and I don't know who the fourth one was.
The fourth one was Bobby Grich.
Bobby Grich.
Yeah, he was.
Wow.
He was
That doesn't even sound like a real name.
You could have given me an hour and a half. I would have never came up with Bobby Grich.
Hey, he's a mean one, Bobby Grich.
a lot of this goes back to my baseball card collection. I started collecting baseball cards around 81. So
I'm the same thing, but my era was like 85 to 90.
Oh, just a little bit too late. Yeah. So the thing is, back in the day, they used to get the home run leaders card or the batting average leaders card. And so this one in 1982, when it came out, was 4 guys and then Mike Schmidt on the other side for the National League. So yes. Anyway,
that's the only reason I had Tony Armas, by the way.
Okay, here we go. Question number 2 and 5 on 3. I'm looking for the top 5 left-handed quarterbacks by career yards passing.
We're going to check in.
Okay. Got to go sleeveless, pal has checked in. Conor McGregor, you have 2 minutes.
All right. So I think you're right when you said Vic and you said Esiason.
Michael Vick, not Marcus.
Yes.
No, Katie Vick, right, Dan?
Yes. And Steve Young has got to be the first one.
Yeah, my only thing was was he too far back? But because they just throw so much in present day. But if Esiason's there, then Steve Young's going to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that I think he's got to be there. Because who are the recent lefties? You named Burnell.
Like Scott Mitchell, he's not going to be on here. I mean, I think the other one's going to be Ken Stabler, though. He's famously left-handed and famously threw for a lot of yards. So
what's the differentiation between non and famously?
Well, no, if he's one of those guys that you name a lefty quarterback, Ken Stabler's going to be one of the first people I say. I'm comfortable with all 5.
Yeah, I mean, I was starting to say before, Kenny Stabler's a little before my time knowing sort of what the stats were on those guys. So
he was whipping the ball around, though. He was whipping the ball around a lot.
If you want to go with Kenny Stabler, I mean, you ran the last list, so
all right,
I trust you on this.
Okay, so I'm positive Steve Young. I'm positive Michael Vick. I'm positive Burnell. I'm almost positive Esiason, and I have got a very, very good inclination that Stabler will be the last one. So if you want to go 4, we can. If you want to go 5, we can do those.
No, we can go 5. We'll go 5.
All right, we're gonna go Young, Vick, Brunell, Stabler, Esiason.
And got to go sleeveless, pal.
Dude, we have no opportunity to gain on these guys. We checked in with Boomer, Brunell, Stabler, Vick, and Young.
And both teams are receiving points. Wow, you guys sniffed that one out. All right, our last 5 on 3, which may require a little bit of explanation. The 5 cities or metro areas that have won all 4 Big 4 titles the most recently. So what I'm looking for is if you look back in history, if a team won them in, let's say, 2019, 2017, 2012, and 2003. Their year is 2003.
I'm
All right,
good.
we're
with
going
it.
to check in.
All right. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, has checked in. Got to go sleeveless. You have about 30 seconds to put a list together.
All right, so we came up with Boston, Chicago, and LA pretty quickly. Then we talked about Miami, thinking that the Dolphins' last Super Bowl was in 1973.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that the Panthers have won. I don't think they won a Stanley Cup, right? They
Panthers.
just lost this last
Yeah.
season.
Take it back.
And
Yeah, you're
they
right.
only
you're
have
right,
one other
you're right.
appearance, right? I think.
You're right. You're 100%
So that
right.
means
For some
so
reason,
I
was
think
thinking
I
they won
think
this year.
so I think Philly's in there.
Okay, so Philly, we think the Broad Street Bullies won in the
Right.
late 70s, I think.
So probably like 77, 78.
Yep.
And then I
I
think
put down
so there's the
78.
fifth one New York with the Knicks?
Is it? Could be with the Knicks.
Because that's early 70s.
Yep. That would be like 70.
Now that Miami's out.
3-ish or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Miami's out. Detroit 1953. We're gonna go with Philly, and then we're gonna go with New York.
So I think
Okay.
Boston, Chicago, LA, New York, and Philadelphia.
David, we have Boston, Chicago, LA, New York, and Philly.
Okay. And Conor McGregor, what did you guys have?
Well, if they're wrong, we're wrong. I said the exact same 5, with New York being 73, Philly 74, Chicago 86, Boston, 6 months ago, whatever. And LA actually fairly recently too.
LA, all of them fairly recent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, both teams get participation trophies, but neither team is receiving points.
Oh,
No,
wow.
here's-
Because we
Here's-
ended up with
here's-
zero.
Here's what it is. You guys were right that Los Angeles was pretty automatic. The farthest back they go is to the Kings, which was 2014. Everybody else was since in the 2020s. Boston is after that. The farthest back they go is the Celtics with 2008. After that is Chicago, who goes back with the Bears to 86. After that is the one that I didn't hear anyone discussing, which is Washington. Nobody mentioned Washington, but they go back to the Wizards Bullets, which was 78. Then the Philadelphia would be next. The Flyers won in 75. And then before that was New York. So I think in the Super Bowl era, there are only 6 cities that have done this, but New York is actually number 6, which gives me some pleasure. So the correct answers were Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, Washington, and Philly in that order. Okay, so after the third quarter, we have scores of Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal with 325 and Conor McGregor Oilers legend with 525. That will bring us to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
So, since everybody was talking about school before, this is the back to school fourth quarter preschool edition. Question 1 is going to be letters. Question 2 is going to be numbers. Question 3 is going to be shapes. And question 4 is going to be colors. Letters will be about Major League Baseball home run hitters. Numbers will be about NBA team records. Shapes will be about NFL firsts. And colors will be about the Big Four and the Olympics, just to make it as broad as possible. It's now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question number 1, our category is letters. Who is the only franchise home run leader whose last name starts with the same letter as the team name for whom he is franchise leader?
Gosh.
Oh my God, dude.
Okay.
Seriously?
He played his entire career in the last 40 years.
Mhm.
We're going to check in.
All right. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, has checked in. Got to go sleeveless, pal. You have about 2 minutes.
Okay, so the options I have so far, right?
Yeah.
Angels and Garrett Anderson. I think that's out. Like
Mhm.
you said, Trout's gonna have more than the Rangers and Pudge, just based on longevity.
Mhm.
I mean, he's a guy that hit, between 20 to 25, and he was there for 12 years ish.
Yep.
So I think that's an option. I'm trying to think of newer teams just because I can think of all the guys that have played for them, right? So I'm thinking like Marlins and Rockies, but I don't
Yeah.
think those match up because the Rockies is probably Helton or Holiday, and either way it doesn't, right? The Marlins is not, I can't think of anyone with an M that it would be for them.
It's a silent H. Rockies.
So you
then
think Pudge is the leader for the Rangers?
I don't, who else is it? No one else stayed there long enough.
Juan Gonzalez.
even Wong gone though. I mean, he was hurt. He had two or three big. He had the 2 MVP seasons and then like one more big season with them. But that was pretty much it. Brewers and Jeremy Burnitz, or the Brewers and Ryan Braun. How about Brewers and Braun?
Ryan Braun and Brewers. There you
How
go.
about that?
That
like
makes
one.
a lot of sense.
Is there any old school person from the Brewers that?
None of them were
I
big
don't think
home run
so.
hitters. I mean, unless you consider
I mean, Gorman Thomas, but he didn't play there long enough.
Hank Aaron played his last season with the Brewers.
Right, but that does. I don't think he hit more than Braun.
Exactly.
That one season. You want to do Brewers and Braun? I kind of like that.
Brewers and Braun. Let's go with that. We're gonna check in with that for 100.
All right. And Conor McGregor, what did you have?
Yeah, I mean we had the same answer. We said Braun with the Brewers.
Both teams are receiving points.
For how many points did they wager?
Oh yeah, how many points did you wager?
31.
31. Yeah, so just some of the teams you mentioned, I'll just sort of rattle them off real quickly. So who did you say? The Rangers is Juan gone, by the way.
Oh,
okay.
He had close to 400 home runs with the Rangers. The Marlins is Stanton, so that would have been out.
Diamondbacks.
Angels is Trout.
Did you guys
The
see
Diamondbacks
a stat
Luis
the other day
Gonzalez.
that since 2017, Stanton is still leading the Marlins in home runs since 2017, and he was there for one season.
By the way, Ryan Braun is our second cover guy for the Jewish Sports Quarterly of the day. I just wanted to share with you.
He's also Eric Walling has also faced him on the mound.
That is true. That is very true. All right, question 2. We go on. We've done letters. Now we're going to do numbers. On the list of NBA team records for scoring averages in a season, there are 2 players who own the highest season scoring average for multiple teams. Not surprisingly, one of them is Wilt Chamberlain, who owns the scoring average records for both the Warriors and the 76ers. Who is the other player to hold season scoring or average records for 2 teams, setting both records in the last 25 years? And by the way, ABA team records pre-merger don't count.
We're going to check in.
All right. Got to go sleeveless pal has checked in. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend. You have about 30 seconds.
I don't know if I'm going to come off of another name than this, unless you can tell me somebody else who could work out for this. But no. I have.
It's usually only David that has tough difficulty getting off of people.
I have Vince, not Young, but Carter. I sent Vince Young over to Chris. He's like, "What, the quarterback?" I said, no.
He has the lowest Wonderlic scores for 2 franchises, right?
I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be Vince Carter for the Raptors and the Nets. I can't come up with anybody else.
Yeah, I mean the Raptors. I don't think there was anybody else.
Right.
And then the Nets. I mean, they've been around since.
He specifically said no ABA.
Yeah.
So Dr. J wouldn't be in play for them. Yeah, unless you can come up with something else.
No, that's fine.
All right, we're gonna go with Vince, not Young, but Carter, for 31 points.
Okay, and got to go sleeveless.
Now I'm even more mad because Vince Carter was one of the 3 names that I sent to Matt, along with LeBron and the person that I answered with, who I would assume had more for the Nets, and that's Kevin Durant. So we're thinking Nets and Thunder, Kevin Durant for 100 points.
One team will be receiving points, and it is the team that said Vince Young, not Carter, or Carter, not Young. Yeah, so remarkably consistent. So Vince Carter with the Raptors in 2000, 2001 had set their record with 27.6 points per game. And then 4 years later, in 2004, 2005, with 27.5 points per game, he set the Nets record in the post-merge era. So Dr. J, I think Dan alluded to this, but Dr. J had more points. And there was somebody else. Was it Rick Barry? Who was some Hall of Famer who played for the Nets early on in the ABA days? I can't remember who it was, but Dr. J had several years over that. But anyway, the correct answer is Vince Carter.
How many for the Nets did you say?
He had 27.5 with the Nets for the record and 27.6 for the Raptors for the record.
Didn't Durant do 30 with the Nets just like 2 years ago?
I don't think so, but hold on a second.
It could be a games played thing. Maybe I don't know how many games played you have to have in the NBA to qualify for the scoring title. I'm looking at it now. He had 29-9 in 21-22 for the Nets, Durant, in 55 games. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh, damn it.
I don't know what the games played is.
Uh-oh.
Shenanigans by David Lux.
But when I
think you
heard you
gotta
say
give-
Vince's
That
number,
mess
I'm
up.
like,
I see how
Durant
it is.
definitely had more than that.
All right.
I think
We're
you
gonna,
gotta
I'm
give
gonna,
both.
Nonsense.
we're gonna appeal to the judges, and I'm gonna do some research. But when I look off sort of high scoring averages for the Nets, Vince Carter is listed and Kevin Durant is not listed. So now I got,
Here we
I got to
go.
go do some research. But
Here we go. He changes the answer right when
all
we
right.
submit
No,
it.
no, no.
I get it.
I think you got to give points to both teams
I
on
get
that
it.
one.
I think
Honestly,
maybe-
Oh no, both points bull crap.
Yeah, exactly. No, Matt's protesting. Matt doesn't want me to give points for Vince Carter. All right,
I don't
let's go
care.
on. And while you guys are thinking about this one, I will research the last one. Okay, so we've had letters and numbers. It's time for shapes. Last year, what NFL defensive lineman became the first player to play for two different teams in the same postseason? He played for the Raiders in the wild card round, and then he signed with the Bengals practice squad and ended up playing for the Bengals against the Chiefs.
Also, David, I just looked it up. In order to qualify, you have to play in 58 games in an 82-game season, and Katie played in 55.
Oh,
So I
shoot.
think you're
Woo! All right. Off on a technicality is what you're telling me. All right. Thank goodness.
yes.
David, we're gonna check in.
All right. So gotta go sleeveless pal has checked in. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend. You get 2 minutes.
I don't have anything on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't since I don't have NFL defensive linemen in fantasy, I don't follow them as closely as I would the skill players.
It's gonna be somebody with a last name that's a shape, because there's no other shapes mentioned
Right.
in this question. So, is there a circle,
Oval.
square? Is there someone with last name Square?
Triangle. Hexagon. Someone to last name
Of
Hexagon.
all those words, of all those shapes,
What about star?
ooh, star? That could be. I was gonna say I was gonna say let's just say square, but star I like as a better name as a name.
No, am I remembering somebody's last name is Ovalle? O'Valley or
Maybe you know, if you've been listening to the show, you know, new NFL,
Yeah.
not my thing. And I would think that if this is an actual shape, you'd think that it would jump out at me if I knew who it was. So
one of the things that I do a lot in my job is I look at names all day, with
Mhm.
like class rosters and everything.
yeah,
I've never seen anybody with the last name circle or square or octagon.
I don't know. Do you want to just go star?
Sure.
All right, we're gonna check in. Last name Star for 32 points.
All right. And we gotta go sleeveless pal.
Yeah, I knew this. I heard this name before, and as soon as I looked back up and saw that because when you typed it into the thing, you put down the question and then you put down the shapes. So I'm like, oh yes, Square, Damian Square. Yes, so Damian Square for 100 points.
It is in fact Damian Square, and he's the reason for the category name and the reason I wrote a whole thing about preschool, back to school. But yes, it is Damian Square. I saw this and I was thinking, I mean, you can't do this in Major League Baseball, but I guess I'm more familiar with the rules there. You can't just leave a roster and go to somebody else.
Because they have postseason yeah,
right.
Like
They have fixed postseason rosters.
Yeah, there's
But in
no
this case,
postseason roster.
Right. I mean, but he signed to a practice squad and then was promoted when somebody was hurt, and he ended up playing for two teams in the same postseason. That just seems crazy. I'm, one guy. I
think it had something to do with the COVID rules too, or something like that.
Oh,
I think
that could be.
I think they had some lingering.
But it just
COVID
happened
rules.
last year. But maybe they revamped the rules.
So he's also the first player to lose 2 postseason games.
Yes, that's right.
Well, that's weird. So he got dropped after they lost a game.
He must.
So
have
like
been,
the Raiders lost, they were eliminated. So I guess at that point,
I guess they cut him, and then I mean, it just seems weird though, because with that kind of loophole, you could have like you could cut your All-Pro quarterback who went somebody
Yeah,
else.
and that's the thing about it is you don't have to cut a guy until the end of the league year.
You
So
don't
why
have
would you,
to, but
why
I
would
don't
you
know.
cut
But
him in January?
I have no
Would it have
idea.
something to do with the fact that he was a practice squad guy?
Maybe, but he was a
Right? They
practice.
had
He
like
ended up
different contracts, like
he
day
ended
to
up-
day. So like
could
if they
be.
kept him, they might have to pay him for
They
the
had to
entire
have signed him
offseason.
to like
Certainly
a
could be.
whole full.
I think it has something with the Raiders trying to screw over the Chiefs and being like, "Hey, Bengals, take one of our players, try to
Well,
beat the Chiefs."
It didn't work. Cheaters never prosper, I guess. All right. So, question number 4, our last question of the night. We had letters, we had numbers, we had shapes, and now we have colors. Of the 5 Olympic ring colors, what is the only one that is not included in a Big Four team name or Big Four location?
we would like to check in at this moment.
All right. Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal has decided to check in. Throwing cushions into the wind. Conor McGregor, Oilers legend. 2 minutes to talk it out.
It's black or yellow. Because it's the Blue Jays, the Reds, and Green Bay.
Yeah, and then what isn't white a color?
White's the background color of the background of the flag. It's the 5 rings. It's red, blue, black, yellow, and green. Unless it's gold, which I don't think it is. I think it's yellow. But I can't think of. Can you think of a yellow? I mean, the Yellow Jackets, but can you think of anything black or anything yellow? It's more likely that there's going to be a color black in a name that I can't think of right now than yellow.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's also the Golden State, right?
Yeah, but
I feel like there's something now. What is the official team for the Las Vegas hockey team?
it's the Golden Knights.
You can get this, Dan, you pancake eating son of a gun.
That's what's throwing me. I can't think of a yellow or a black right now, unless it's just something easy that I'm not thinking of.
I don't know. I can't think of anything that has black other than silver and black for the Raiders. But
right, but I can't think of anything that would be yellow. Can you? I guess yellow then.
All right, got to go sleeveless, pal. What did you guys have?
Chicago Blackhawks, Dan.
Yeah.
Chicago Blackhawks.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Blackhawks, Green Bay, Blue Jays, Reds, Red Sox. Yeah, we checked in with yellow for 25 points.
And Dan, you had how many
32.
points?
Yellow
32.
for 32.
So both teams are receiving points, and yes, it's the Chicago Blackhawks, the Detroit Red Wings, Boston Red Sox, Cincinnati Reds, Green Bay Packers, and then for blue, the St. Louis Blues, the Toronto Blue Jays, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Take your pick. So, well done to both teams for pulling that out. Thank you. Sorry it was so stressful. Our game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. Gotta Go Sleeveless Pal finished with a respectable 450 points, but our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Sean Clifford Award, were Conor McGregor, Oilers legend, who scored 587 points. Hey, Chris, anything you want to talk about before we call it a night?
no, I mean I had a good time. Thanks for writing these questions. I know I'm in the minority, but I enjoy the David questions.
So
You're welcome back anytime, Chris. Enough of these knuckleheads.
Why don't you get all four of us on it too while you're at it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so no, I appreciate the invite, and anytime you're looking, I think that I'm always I don't know, half an hour to an hour too late to get on the ones where you're looking for players, because I'm working in a school. I'm not handcuffed to my email,
Yeah.
so those come out and I feel like you get 4 people within 5 minutes of posting them. But anytime you're looking for someone, let me know. I'm happy to come on if I can. So.
Hey, you know what? Just sign up way ahead of time. We'll have you on anytime. It's always fun. That's easier than playing the availability game. But thank you for coming on to play. Thank you for indulging me. Thank you for saying you like my questions, even if you didn't. I don't really care. I'm just glad somebody said it. That was nice of you. And thanks for your support for the podcast. It's always great to have supporters of the podcast on who just love sports and love sports trivia and love hanging out and talking sports trivia. So it was great.
And I was saying this to Mark Grenier because we're in the
hi Mark,
the sports the apocalypse trivia thing. I'm in that league. I say I'm Vanderbilt because I just can't compete with most of these other guys, and without Dan, I probably would have had 5 points in this game.
Hey, look,
so he really carried me. So
I think it's time for me to wrap this up. So thanks again, Chris. Thanks for coming on. Again, thanks for the support. So, and on behalf of Scott, Dan, Matt, and all the Benchwarmers, I just want to say thank you for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
Bye.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at BenchwarmersTP.